Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at Hiya's Predators. Again, they've made more. These are 3 from the movie Predators. Kind of redundant, but lots of the word Predator are going to be thrown around today. We have the Berserker, Falconer, and Tracker Predators, all from that movie, and they are pretty much along the lines of every other Predator Hiya has put out. Maybe a little less in some ways, but then in other ways they seem to be a little bit nicer, like higher production quality, maybe lower detail here and there, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's always a balance of budget, so it is what it is. And I'm not as familiar with these Predators. I've only seen the movie a couple of times, and these ones were not my favorite. Anyway, doesn't matter. They're pretty cool figures, and we're going to review them. So let's go ahead and get them off the stand and take a closer look. Alrighty, we're going to do them all in one video. They're all very similar. I'll show you the differences, but as far as height goes, they are all within the margin of error, so to speak. They're about 5 inches tall, which makes them pretty close to, let's say 12.5 centimeters. And if you're not clear about the size, because these appear to be fairly well detailed, and they're exceptionally well detailed for their scale, just to give you an idea, because a lot of people like to get me to try to compare these two product lines. This is Hiya's little Predator, 1/18 scale, and this is NECA's 7-inch scale Predator. They are not competing companies. They are not aiming for the same customers, that's for sure. They're not even close to the same size, and yes, they're similar price points, but what you're paying for here is size, and what you're paying for here is size. There's a difference. Making big things cost something, and making small things cost something, and it's just the way it is. So there's really no need to compare the two. Just to give you an idea of the scale, that's what I'm doing. Alright, now as far as aesthetics go, they all have the same level of detail, level of quality. They're all very nicely done. The skin is covered with details, little freckles and whatnot, lots of sculpted texture on there. They do have armor bits throughout that are all painted metallic and have a wash on them, and they have as much detail as you would get on a bigger figure, but on a much smaller figure. It's very nicely done. None of these guys have fishnets on them like the regular Predators, so you don't have that detail work, but it's very, very clean, very nicely done across all 3 of them. For the scale, it's exceptional. I will give it a 9 out of 10. Honestly, I could probably say 10 for the aesthetic on these guys, but there are issues like that spot on his helmet bugs me, things like that, of course, but they are very nicely done. So 9 out of 10 for the aesthetic. Now as far as accessories go, they all do get a little display stand with the little tabby things that connect them together if you want to. They all come with open hands in the package, and then they all come with a set of gripping hands in the package. The only real unique accessory for each of them is the type of skull they have. And the Berserker has, I guess it's a human skull. It looks like a human skull and spinal column. Then we have what looks like another Predator skull for the Falconer. And then we have what looks like, it's another Predator skull for the Tracker. So we only have one unique accessory, really. Well, I guess 2. And so that's not a great array of accessories. I suppose it's fine, but I will say 6 out of 10. Nothing impressive there. Now, as far as the articulation goes, they do all share the same articulation. The only real unique traits would be if their armor happens to get in the way a little bit or not. So I'm not going to really bother going over that uniquely for each figure. We'll just use this one because it happens to be the one I chose. They have a ball peg at the top of the head, which does let them move around pretty well. It's definitely enough for the shoulders. Full range out to the side, no problem there. Full rotation, except this one is stuck. I don't know why it's stuck. This one is also, okay, I picked the wrong one. That one's stuck on both arms. This one works. And the full rotation is fine. So that's probably just mine. Doesn't seem to be a uniform issue, so that's okay. There's no swivel there. You're gonna get the swivel down at the elbow, and that elbow is stuck. Okay, so they look nicer, but the joints are definitely more problematic. That elbow is stuck. We'll go back here. Let's see what we have. That feels like it's gonna break. So there's a single peg and a swivel, a single peg swivel and a hinge in there. That feels fragile as heck, and they all seem to be stuck to various degrees. So I'm just not gonna mess with it. That's not good. That's definitely not good. The wrists are all on ball pegs, little tiny ball pegs that have almost no range. For the torso, it's pretty good. It's a ball peg again. You get decent range, and then the waist is also on a ball peg. You get some more range out of that. For the hips, you can bring them out to the side. Pretty far, almost doing the splits, that's all right. And you can bring the legs forward. Not very far at all. Going back, not very far at all. You do get a little bit of a thigh swivel there. Double jointed knees. That one doesn't want to work. I don't know what happened. Their joints are all messed up. There we go. I don't know if they assembled too early or what, but the knees work well enough once you unstick them. And then for the ankles, you only have a boot swivel because they all have these boots on, which I don't like. So I thought the articulation was going to be much better on these guys. The ones that have this, it's a separate piece, by the way. And it's not. I thought they were at a higher level of finish just by looking at them, but the joints themselves are all janked up. So articulation standard functionally, if it's not stuck, but since they are stuck, I'm going to drop it down to a 6. I'm sorry, Hiya. It's not, I know what you want to hear, but that QC is not really that good. So you guys will be able to deal with it probably with some hot water or a hairdryer or something, but it's definitely not great to get them that way out of the package. So final verdict on these guys, if you're into this line already and into these Predators, I'd say get them with some caution and just be careful. They look great. Accessories are fine. Just be careful with that articulation. You should be okay. But I'm going to give them only a final verdict of, just because the aesthetic is so good, it's going to help bump them up a little bit. I'm only going to go 7 though because of those other issues. So a little bit disappointing, I know, but they still look good at least. And that should be a good thing for those of you who do want to collect them. And that'll do it. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, well, this probably won't convince you, but I'm going to say it anyway. You should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on my channel. So if you haven't done that, do that and come back for all that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.